We're here at CPAC 2011. I'm Kevin Glass, Managing Editor with townhall.com, and I'm here with Kay Hymowitz. How are you? Thanks for being with us.
Just fine, thank you.
And you're doing a little bit of research on the modern pre-adult.
That's right.
Male culture, I guess we can call it.
Male and female, and therefore female, yes.
And therefore female. And with Valentine's Day coming up, that's very important. And what exactly do you think is wrong with our culture today, and how does it relate to Valentine's Day?
Well, as you know, Valentine's Day is the day that men are supposed to make the proposal. And it occurred to me that there was something strange about that. You know, why in a world where women supposedly want to be equal, were men still doing all the proposing? And not only that, not only are they supposed to be doing the proposing, they're supposed to do it in a major way. If you go on YouTube and look up wedding proposals, you'll see these Disney-level productions that men have been forced to design for their women, and the women, throw their hands to their faces like, damsels in distress like this, and the men go down on bended knee. So I thought, well, this is kind of strange, given we're supposedly living in an egalitarian age. I think what it means is that women still are looking for guys to be in charge, and this is one of the few times they can allow them to do it.
You've seen that the YouTube video where it's a giant production in Central Park, and they hired the cast of a musical to choreograph this giant dance.
He wrote songs. He placed his intended on a chair in the middle of Central Park. He brought on a cast of, 20 people. And then, of course, she feigned surprise like that.
And so you think that this is evidence that despite the push towards egalitarianism between the sexes, that's not what we want?
Well, I think there's some lurking desire that's being expressed in these big proposals, so that women still want to be pursued. And they're so rarely able to ask for that or insist on that. And it's still part of the ritual. And so few rituals that we have left in the dating scene. So I was very struck by how much Valentine's Day is the one day that we still see this revival of old-fashioned gender roles.
Now, what do you think is kind of behind this push for egalitarianism that has led us into a state where we're pretending to be egalitarian but still want the men to take this kind of responsible role in a relationship? Well,
look, women are doing awfully well in the workplace, especially college-educated women. They are now 57% of college graduates. They are doing extremely well in college, and they're out earning men in a lot of cities, a lot of workplaces. So you have women who they're not only egalitarian, they're sort of outperforming men. And I don't think that this sits comfortably for a lot of people when it comes to romantic life. So I think with something like the proposal and the wedding, by the way, we didn't even talk about that. This is what I call the return of the repressed. That is, we've had to sort of repress those feelings of wanting traditional gender roles, and we allow them to come out in only very certain, very defined places.
Mm-hmm. So I don't have plans for Valentine's Day coming up for my significant other.
You're not going to ask me? Oh, no.
No, for my significant other. What would you recommend that I do as a, what you may kind of deem a pre-adult male?
I do not give advice. That is beyond my pay grade, really.
Okay. So, do you think that we've seen, despite the yearn for a more egalitarian, or not a more egalitarian, a more traditional Valentine's Day, do you think that we do see kind of non-traditional displays of romanticism from the women's side of the equation on Valentine's Day?
The non-traditional?
Yeah.
I think some women are trying to find other ways to do it, and certainly it's expected that women are supposed to provide presents for their male partners in whatever form that would take. So sure, they're supposed to do that too, but honestly, it really, I think what most women you hear about want a more traditional, the man is supposed to give her a present. If he only gives her one rose, expect to be thrown, have that thrown in your face. That's not good enough.
I'm going to buy a couple of roses.
I read somewhere, by the way, that men hate Valentine's Day.
It's a lot of pressure.
Exactly.
So do you think that, so men feel a lot of pressure on Valentine's Day. Do you think men are looking for a more, women responsible for Valentine's Day kind of presentation?
Well, there's the dilemma for men. Here they are. They've been told that women are their equal. That women don't like, traditional men, bossy men, very alpha men, and yet there come these moments where suddenly they're supposed to be extremely forceful and debonair, and I think it's a really difficult thing for guys to figure out what's expected of them. This is something that I write a great deal about in my forthcoming book, Manning Up.
And do you see, in addition to Valentine's Day, do you see a trend throughout other major relationship holidays, anniversaries, birthdays? Do you see more of traditionalism in that sense as well, beyond just Valentine's Day?
I'm not sure. If women have a significant other, I'm sure that that makes sense, that they are expecting that. I think probably the biggest example, though, of this traditional role-playing is in the wedding. And we all know the stories of how nuts women go. Even the most feminist, egalitarian women who are insisting on being Cinderella for a day and drive everybody out of their minds. So this is all about the women shining, and look. That I don't encourage, and I think there are all kinds of problems associated with that, where guys are actually very secondary to the whole process.
So you actually think that on a wedding, placing all of the emphasis on the woman is not the way that our culture needs to move?
Look, I have nothing against wanting to have a big party. I think, it is a wonderful thing to celebrate. But we sometimes find women who are getting overly caught up in being a celebrity for a day, and that I think is a problem. It promotes the idea that this is all about the women and they're looking like princesses and getting toned up and getting all of this makeover and all of that. That's really not what it is.
So I take it you're not a fan of these modern reality shows, Say Yes to the Dress and Bridezillas and what's the new one, Bridalplasty, and
I'm not a fan about what it expresses, except I think it really is reflecting something that's going on in the culture. I think it really does encourage, though, again, this kind of Bridezilla mentality of the woman starring role. So, yeah, right. I want them more involved,
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much.
Hymowitz of the Manhattan Institute. We're live at CPAC.